There are lots of VR games that deal with zombies, and even more games outside of VR obsessed with zombies still. Even in 2020, Arizona Sunshine has been the benchmark we've used collectively to judge zombie shooters in VR ever since late 2016. But now, with the weight of the Walking Dead IP and some truly excellent immersive gameplay, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is the new standard. The secret to Skydance Interactive's impressive success here is that they focus on what other developers seem to be afraid to tackle: everything other than the zombies. We all know what zombies are, we've seen the movies, played the games, watched the TV shows, read the books, and all the best pieces of zombie fiction explore what happens to the world and the people inside of it after the apocalypse hits and what it takes to survive. That's where Saints and Sinners is at its strongest. In The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, you play as a nameless protagonist referred to as the Tourist. You're not from New Orleans, but you come to the flooded city on behalf of an old scavenger that promises you a lifetime's bounty of loot and gear if you help him uncover it. From the opening moment, you're thrown into a complex and realized world that feels alive despite the walking death that surrounds you. There are humans doing their best to survive between warring factions, straggling survivors begging for help. There's a lot of NPC interactions that are all a bit shallow though, even if they are impressive at first, because there's just a lot to do and see, and it all starts to feel a bit repetitive. Environments are kind of bland and human enemy AI is not very bright, but luckily the combat is gruesome and satisfying, as is the world to explore. It doesn't quite have the same level of intricate physics simulation that Blade and Sorcery does, but it doesn't need that. You can chop off heads and arms and impale in all the right places instead of vanity features. Saints and Sinners is more interested in depth. There's a huge assortment of weapons on display, from crafted melee brawling devices like bats with nails, Negan's iconic weapon, as well as bows, swords, knives, and claw blades. There's various pistols, revolvers, assault rifles, multiple shotguns, bolt-action rifles, and more. Specifically, I want to call out how satisfying the pump-action shotgun is. Bottom-loading each shell, then having to pump after each shot felt incredibly immersive, especially when you've got hordes of zombies coming down on you, dropping shells on the ground when you're frantically trying to reload in the dark just as your flashlight starts to go dim. It's a unique sort of terror only VR can really provide. Oh, and you can kill zombies with spoons. You might spend a lot of time fighting walkers, but Saints and Sinners soars its highest in the moments between the violence. Moments such as crouching down behind a car as you creep past a horde with desperately low ammo or on the verge of death without any healing supplies, or slowly cracking open a door to poke your head through and see if the coast is clear, or even waiting for two factions of humans to finish their shootout so you can mop up the rest. It's really a game of intensity and anxiety, but when it all bubbles up to the surface and erupts in a flurry of panicked violence, the adrenaline rush is all worth it. One thing that's easy to gloss over though and forget is all the survival mechanics. You have both a health bar and stamina bar to take care of using food, medicine, and bandages, and just wrapping your wounds with your physical hand rolling over your wrists is another great bit of VR ingenuity. The voice acting is some of the best I've heard in VR, and visually the soft textures and not quite realistic art style reminds me a lot of Telltale's Walking Dead, as well as the original comic, and I mean that in the best way possible. There are branching quest lines here that try to emulate the Telltale stories, but don't quite live up to that same level. Comfort options in The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners are about what you'd expect from most modern VR titles. It's a smooth locomotion only game, which means no teleport movement, but you can adjust things like FOV dimming if you're sensitive, or switch between snap and smooth turning. You cannot, unfortunately, crouch in the real world to crouch in the game. It seems to be built for sitting primarily. There is a required crouch button. Hopefully that gets patched with real-life crouching soon. All in all, it's about a 15 to 20 hour long game, give or take a few depending on how slowly or aggressively that you play. And despite its minor issues like relatively boring environments, some repetitive missions, and lackluster human AI, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is easily the best zombie game in VR to date. The shooting mechanics feel heavy and impactful, melee is extremely violent in just the right ways, there's really immersive stealth and survival mechanics, and the crafting system packs a large and dense adventure unlike anything else out there. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is now available as of January 23rd, 2020 for $39.99 on both the Oculus Rift Home Store and Steam, with support for all major PC VR headsets. Skydance Interactive is also planning to release the game for PS PSVR in spring 2020 and Oculus Quest near the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more great VR content, and check out uploadvr.com for all the latest news, reviews, and interviews of the VR industry.